From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America. And more importantly, God bless our victims. Well, happy Tuesday, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday so far. Here's some more information related to Sebastian Rogers, just a discussion that I had on TikTok early this morning. I thought you guys might enjoy the discussion. Let me know your thoughts on the information covered in this video. Well, you guys have an amazing day and God bless. Well, good morning, my beautiful people. It's nice to see you this Tuesday morning. I'm getting ready to get out of the house. In the next few hours, I've got a court hearing in Illinois, so I figured I'd just pop on here and talk about a little bit of Sebastian Rogers, some information. There's not a whole lot of updates on this case, which has been very problematic. Law enforcement doesn't seem to be getting, it seems, I don't know how to explain it. I feel that they are coddling the Proudfoots and ticking off the Rogers, if that makes sense. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you guys coming in. So we're talking about Sebastian Rogers. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion today on Sebastian Rogers, which is the 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee, and has not been seen or heard from again. We learned from his mother, Katie Proudfoot, that she had a day on Sunday with him, a wonderful, no problem day. They went to BJ's, got some snacks. He had a colossal popcorn. At some point, they came home, dropped the snacks off. This is a change in the original story, but that's what the new story is. Then they went off to bowling and went to a local steakhouse. They returned home. The time they returned home is up for speculation. They've never really told us. Did you see the Uvalde post? I did see a Uvalde post, but I think I passed over it, to be honest with you. I remember seeing something about Uvalde. Katie, if you want to post in here about what it is, that'd be great. Is there any updates on those glasses they found? Yes, they were not connected at all. They came out fairly early. I looked into how they determine whether those glasses belong to somebody or not, and what they do is they typically take the lens out and check the prescription to see if it's a prescription that the person may have. They said they were 100% convinced the family knows more. Yes, and there is an online petition right now out that Seth has authored and is promoting to kind of have the FBI, lead this investigation. Right now, they're not leading the investigation. It appears that TBI is leading this investigation. The missing person is not even on the Sumner County list. So it's TBI, and we're learning that it might be because of a conflict of interest. We've heard that Chris Proudfoot's sister works for the sheriff's office. It just so happens that he called into the main line when reporting Sebastian Rogers gone and missing. We also learned that phone is usually not manned by a person at that time of morning. And it was just so happened he got through. So again, there's a lot of questions. We learned from one of his coworkers that it's possible he didn't even start work until 7 a.m. Obviously, a significant time after they've reported Sebastian missing, and after he said, because he gave us a whole explanation about how he was on the crane and when that call came in at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know. It's stuff that I can't corroborate, you know? That's the bad thing. I won't be able to corroborate at least for some time. I do have a trip going out there. I'm hoping that maybe somebody will step forward and just fill me in. If you don't want to be on the record, anybody knows I go to the mattress for my sources. So it's not like, I mean, it literally would take a court order for me to say your name. So if somebody wants to meet with me and just give me some background off the record, I mean, if you want to be on the record, I'm game. But if you want to be off the record, I'm fine, because at the end of the day, it's just finding out the information. So anybody that's willing to help me with background information on Katie and Chris, that would be great. Even Seth, you know, why not? Why not know what Seth is? And, you know, so we're fair. We're fair. We're completely and utterly fair on both sides of the aisle. I don't think anything's going to come of Seth. But you know what? To settle the people that feel that it needs to be looked at, then fine. Let's look at it. Let's get comfortable with it and move on. Right now, we have a lot of people that are very, very highly upset, and they've got a lot of great questions, y'all. I mean, a lot of great questions. Which one's this one? Here, a perfect example. An anonymous member of this one Facebook group I'm associated with is screaming how it's been 50 days. No signs of Sebastian. No clothes, no scents, nothing, zip, zero. He left barefoot, claims his mama, the Proudfoot. So much feet in this case I call BS. The sock people are traveling everywhere from icebergs to sandcastles. What's really going on? Why hasn't this turned into a criminal investigation? Why? This complete mockery of Sebastian and Seth, mockery of Tennessee and the Sumner County Sheriff. This poor child could be anywhere. Katie Proudfoot needs your attention. I need your attention, please. I know you read these. Wake up. These are people in this group. You know, they're talking to Katie. They're talking to Katie. They're screaming like, why are you, you know, this is the Bauer Sox. This is Chris Proudfoot's mother. Okay. Now, Sebastian, you have to understand, has been in these people's life for a significant amount of time, over 8 years. They watched the boy grow up. And they've got a missing grandson as far as I'm concerned, right? Because when you marry a family, you blend that family becomes your family. You don't say, oh, well, that's just her son. Don't pay no attention to him. Who does that? Well, probably the Proudfoots. I mean, I'm getting it now. I see that they don't conduct themselves like normal people. I got it. Get it. Got it. So we got grandma and grandpa, the loving grandma and grandpas that they are, just can't seem to stay put. They don't like looking for a missing loved one. Apparently, they don't have time for it. You know, they got their life to live, right? They got one foot in on the ground, another foot in a grave, right? They got to live it up. They don't have much time left. Let's not worry about the missing child that was in your son's care. Wonder what else this lady here has. What else does she know? Because we heard some allegations about Chris when he was younger, didn't we? We did hear about that. So we got people out here screaming bloody murder at the parents, the Proudfoot parents, not the Rogers family. We got some idiots out here. I shouldn't say that. I'm so rude sometimes, aren't I? Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Show. But we do have some people that really truly believe that Seth Rogers could be culpable in all this. And I'm just still sitting here beating my head against the wall saying, how? The man's on camera. The man is the biggest rooter on the sidelines for his son. He was excited that he got it. He was about to have his son full time. Like he's ready. He's been ready. He was probably so excited that finally, he probably already went down and started talking to the school about registering him. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? And then you have Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot right before he's supposed to leave. Something must have exploded in that house. But you know what? Christopher was a ticking time bomb. Because it's always everybody else's fault. It cannot possibly be him. It just can't. It just can't. Another one. If assumption and speculations have caused problems with LE finding Sebastian, what has lying and omissions done to help find him? Great question. Great question. Thank you, Bella, for bringing some common sense back to talking points. You go over here, the speculation surrounding the timing of Chris's court date with Nina and whether that points to a potential motive for Sebastian's disappearance. And then it starts going over there and going through the opinion. Chris doesn't want custody of Faith. His mother, baby Steeler Bowersox, wants custody of Faith. He plays along to hurt, control, and punish Nina. Yep. Where else are we? Chris thinks engaging in relentless custody battles provides him plenty of coverage to prop up his appearance of a good, trying father and a victim of Nina. It's almost as if toxic families almost always need to have common enemy for stimulating group bonding. We have a few people on YouTube like that. Chris knew perfectly well after the stunt, he and his, hold on, let me change. There we go. He and his deadbeat, I can't even read it because I got so much stuff up there, but you guys can read it up there. And I'll start down here. Then he goes and playing victim. She's not letting me see my kid. It's the narcissist playbook. How to completely avoid the parenting responsibility that you're pretending you want. I love these people, right? These people are like, they're giving them no slack. And believe me, because of the personality and the behavior of Christopher and Katie Proudfoot, they're in all these chats reading all this stuff because they need to know how to act. They need to know who their audience is. It's too late for them. They just haven't realized it yet. The true crime community is a really smart community. We think outside the box. We find ways to get the answers when law enforcement refuses to provide them. We only need a little bit of information. We know how to layer. We know how to overlay. We know how to get answers. You want us to believe it's a freaking garbage truck in the middle of the yard? You better give us some Houdini, what is it, Chris Angel type of videos out there to make us believe that, right? You tell us something, you lie to our face, we'll prove to you you're wrong. This is where law enforcement, if they need to keep the integrity of the investigation, then quit acting like social media is so stupid and quit lying, because we will find out. And it never looks good, because then we're forced to be proven to prove the point. When we're called liars, we're ones that show up and rise up and actually produce receipts. Don't call us a liar. There's got to be better ways to handle it, because now it forced all of us to go out there and prove that those lights were not garbage trucks when they probably needed everybody to believe that they were. And it's because they decided to point their finger once again at social media, and social media rears its ugly head once again, because again, this stuff is public information. It's out there in the public, and we capitalize anything that's in the public to help solve questions, right? We're not here solving cases. We're here trying to solve the questions that are had, because we're hopeful by solving those questions, it will help enable the solving of the case. We can't figure out where Sebastian is if we don't know who did something to him. I think we've honed in on who may have harmed him. Now we need to find out about them, because that's going to tell us their behaviors. That's going to tell us where they're comfortable. That's going to tell us all these different things that we need to have about those person. Everybody's like, you just need to quit worrying about them and find Sebastian. Trust me. Trust me when I say this to you. We need to know exactly who those people are in an effort to find Sebastian. And here's why. Because many people out there, they work in environments that they're comfortable with. We have to apply the oh shit factor. What is the oh shit factor? The oh shit factor is the fact that what probably happened was something that happened by rage, by pushing something too far, by hitting too hard, by doing something like that. Somebody losing their cool, just losing their stuff, right? They didn't really mean to harm or make them go that far, or they didn't want to unalive that person, but they lost their stuff that they're unalive, and they're like, oh shit, right? The oh shit factor. We have to apply that, because if there was an oh shit factor and not a premeditation, you're talking about people that need to function in environments that they are comfortable in. They need to be able to know that when they're moving evidence or other stuff, or hiding it or burning it or whatever. They need to go to a place they know they can have privacy to do that. They know, okay, that means that they're comfortable in that environment. You have to learn about these people, have to learn about where they love going fishing, have to learn about who they like hanging out with, have to learn about what they like doing in their pastime, because all of that stuff is relevant when you're trying to locate a needle in a haystack. So that's really the situation, it's the oh shit factor. And so that's where I kind of lie with my analysis of this, because I always apply that to at least one theory that I have, the oh shit factor, because you got to think in the oh shit factor, you've got more adrenaline running through your body. Your dopamine is probably kicking. You got all kinds of different chemicals just firing off in your brain, because you don't even realize how much trauma and stress you yourself are under, almost in a shock-like phase. Your body is just flooded with these chemicals because of the situation. And so your head is not thinking clearly. So when your head's not thinking clearly, one, you make many mistakes, and two, you have to work in comfortable environments in order to get away with what you just did. And so when we're focusing on Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot, we really are focusing on them to try to find the location of where Sebastian might be, at least eliminate areas where we know he won't be. So that really is why. And so I think it's important. I've even said, it doesn't seem like they have a whole lot of friends. So the people that know him at work probably aren't loyal to him, probably aren't loyal to Katie, but Katie seems a little more personable. So she might have a little more loyalty from her Brinks family than he does from the construction family. But I can tell you, construction workers, they just don't give a crap. They'll tell you what you want to know. I'm sorry. I speak construction all day long, but I grew up on the job site. They're not going to cover your ass, because to be honest with you, they very rarely cover their own favorite employee's butt, right? If something happens, you never put your neck out there for somebody else, because you're working on a construction site. The building crashes. You don't want to be saying, well, yeah, I put that up there. Well, no, really, Joe did. I just, covered for him. It doesn't work like that. So, and they don't really care. They don't really care. That's not their business. They don't care. You ask him what time did he come to work, he's going to tell you 7. Did he tell you to tell us 6? Yeah, he told me to tell you 6, but I want to tell you 7 because he came to work at 7. They don't give a crap. They have no loyalty unless they're loyal. But I tell you, a construction worker that's loyal to you, he's one of those people that'll get in the truck and try to run you over for a friend. So anyways, all right, guys. Well, I got to start getting ready. I'm going to be flying out of here. Just know tomorrow we're probably not, I may do a live here for you guys, but I've got court tomorrow. And so I'll probably be in my court documents, just working all day tomorrow. So I don't know. You're probably going to hear crickets from me all day tomorrow. Today, I might have another 1 or 2 lives with you guys, short lives for any updated information throughout the day while I'm at the airport and getting checked into the hotel and whatnot. But I will be keeping you guys up to date. And if we have any information, any breaking information, there is I think a troll. I really do. There's somebody that posted in one of the groups that there was supposed to be a press conference today at 11 Central Time. I've looked at every Facebook page, every Twitter page, everything I can think of, and I haven't found any. I haven't found any press conferences that are noted or stated or anything like that. So, if there is one, please send me it, because I'm not finding it. I don't want to call anybody a liar or a troll, especially if they're really truly trying to help and keep us all together. I'm just saying I can't find the notification. That's all I'm saying. So, and then there's a Riley press conference tonight. Ooh, you know what? Before I get off, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about Riley Strain. You guys remember Riley Strain? He's kind of the reason why we all kind of came over to the Sebastian Rogers case to begin with, because Riley Strain was missing from Nashville. He went to Luke Bryan's bar, and his friend, he wasn't thrown out. I think there was a lot of misinformation around that. He really wasn't thrown out. According to the staff at the bar, apparently he was, obviously heavily intoxicated, and they just made the mention that it might be a good idea that he just went on ahead home because he was intoxicated, and he agreed. And so his friend walked him to the door. His hotel was 3 blocks back, and then all of a sudden he just disappears and vanishes off the earth. Everybody thought he fell into the water. They ended up pulling out 2 additional people out of the water before they actually found him. They ended up finding Riley Strain about 8 miles away from where they thought they saw him. We're getting information that there was witnesses that actually believe that they saw him back past that spot where law enforcement thinks he went into the water. What's making this so confusing is because he was fully dressed when he allegedly went in the water, yet when he was found, he was missing boots, he was missing his jeans, and he was missing his wallet. And that is problematic because his boxers were still on his person when that happened. So this doesn't look good. This looks like, somebody messed with him either before or after he went into the water. Okay? He had no water in his lungs. Another major problematic issue for a lot of people. You drown, there's only very seldom cases where you have a dry drowning. Okay, dry drowning does exist, okay? It does exist. I'm not going to say it doesn't exist at all. Dry drowning absolutely exists. It just doesn't, it's so uncommon. It does happen, but highly, highly uncommon. And basically what it is your throat. Some people, when they're drowning, they have a habit of breathing in, and it brings the water into their lungs, which, as you can imagine, drowns them and they're unalive. Well, with a dry drowning, it basically is a spasm inside the throat that closes the throat. So you're drowning. Your throat's just not letting the water in into the lungs. You're having a dry drown. And so that's what they're saying happened to Riley Strain, is that his throat had a spasm that closed him down, and he dry drowned. That's what they're trying to allege. But now that he doesn't have his clothes on and he has no water in his lungs, it does cause some major concerns. It is definitely red flags if I've ever seen them. And I think law enforcement closing this case out was derelict of their duties, because there are serious questions that should be explained, and law enforcement is sitting on their hands, literally sitting on their hands, because this case is closed. And in order for law enforcement to open this case, the family is going to have to prove to law enforcement that there's a crime here, when law enforcement was negligent in closing the case before they had all the necessary reports in to find out what happened to Riley Strain. So whatever the family needs, if they need us to stand up and start petitions and start stuff to get this case reopened, to look into it, we're going to do whatever we need to do to help move that along. So if you guys hear of anything, keep me posted. You guys can always reach out to me. My email is very, very easy. It's my name, Bullhorn Betty. It's bullhornbetty@gmail. Very simple. So if you guys would like to reach out to me, bring me your questions. If you do ever have new cases, I usually cover cases that resonate with me personally. I find if they keep my attention, they're going to keep my audience attention, and we can really work a case. If I'm stumped, I know my audience will be stumped. And when we're stumped, we work 10 times harder to try to find the answers. So, if you do have a case, I may not cover it, but I will always debut it, at least give it 5 minutes on my YouTube channel. My requirements for new cases is when you send me a new case to my email at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, I need background information. If I have to search for something, as busy as I am, it'll go by the wayside because I am so busy on these cases. I mean, hours upon hours of going through, all this stuff, reading comment. It's hours and hours and hours. But if you can give me articles, if you can give me a headshot, if you know the family or anything like that, where you can help get me more information, I will run that case, even if for 5 minutes. Caleb Harris is another one. There was a few people that picked up Caleb Harris. I can definitely look into that. If somebody wants to send me some information on Caleb Harris, I heard a little bit about the case, but I have not dived into that case at all. You can send that over to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. So that's really it, guys. I want you to have an amazing Tuesday. Thanks for spending it here with me. These lives on TikTok are sponsored by our lovely subscribers here. So if you would like to be part of the family and help this channel grow and keep these lives going, please consider subscribing to our subscription services here on TikTok. God bless everyone. Have an amazing day. And please, if you miss me tomorrow, don't hate me. I promise you I will be back just as soon as possible. God bless.